Episode 23 of the Fit Pro podcast. Welcome back to the Fit Pro podcast, listeners. I am your host, Marvin Fayers, and today's episode 23 of the Fit Pro podcast, will be another spitting fire episode. I've done a bit of thinking on this one, and today we're going to talk about mentors. Now, this page very much is just motivation and inspiration. Again, it's called the Fit Pro podcast, but I feel like we can focus on different things, and not only fitness and fitness professionals. Yeah, we'll interview those every week, but I also want to drop some knowledge. I also want to help those out there trying to look at doing something different with their lives. The people that are out there struggling, the people that are out there don't have a fairly successful circle to draw from. And newsflash, guys, most people don't. Most people live in a space where there's not many people successful around them, or they just are in completely different tangents at completely different levels. And look, one thing I can tell you is that you can learn from everybody. Now, when it comes to mentors, there's a few different types of mentors. There's mentors that you pay for, and there's mentors that you watch from afar. Both of them are very, very effective. Again, some people will get more out of people from reading books or listening to audio or watching video of certain people than they will ever get from talking to that person, because it's showmanship. At the end of the day, sometimes video and audio are people's strong suit, whereas training isn't. So you'll find mentors that are great on tape but are terrible in real life. And on the flip side of things, you'll find people that are really good in real life but don't translate to being on a different medium. So there's always a mix, and I feel like it's good to have a bit of both. Now, why do we need mentors? Because mentors, guys, basically lessen the time it takes to achieve something. Whether that's in fitness, whether that's in business, whether that's in relationships, there's always somebody out there that's done what you're trying to do, and they know how to do it a little bit quicker than you do because you have no idea. And look, there's nothing prideful about taking help from other people. And I think sometimes people feel that they got to go through their paces, they got to learn the hard way, you got to fail. And yes, you have to fail, but when there's a blueprint on how to accomplish something, when somebody's done it, generally they actually know a quicker way of doing it because they've done all the mistakes for you. And I think you'll find whatever it is you're trying to do, there's somebody out there that has already made those mistakes, so you don't really need to basically repeat them, because it's stupid. It really is. Making your pride get in the way, or whatever it seems like it needs to be, taking your lashes along the way, it doesn't really serve for anything besides, yep, you'll get there one day. You can get there quicker if you if you link up with mentors that have done it. Now, today's episode will be more of a just what sort of mentors are out there. I'll show you. I'll talk about some of my mentors and how they affect my life and how they help me. And then I actually put a post up on Facebook and got some feedback from some friends on who they use as mentors and how those mentors help them get through certain things. Alright, so first and foremost, guys, one of my number one mentors, one of the people that I basically look at from afar, you've got Elon Musk. Now, if you know who Elon Musk is, he needs no introduction. I've listened to his books, watched his audio. If you look at my Audible, I've got his one biography that he was allowed to do. And Elon Musk basically started Tesla and SpaceX. He was also part of PayPal, but he definitely shows determination. Now, biographies are a really good way to learn from people's experiences, and I love listening to biographies. I love reading biographies, and especially people that are still around. It shows something that's easily relatable because it's today's day and age. It's not like it was something done years and years and years ago. No, it was done in your generation. These are people doing things in your generation. You can learn from them. Alright, so Elon Musk is a big one for me. Next person would be Mark Cuban. He's the owner of the Dallas Dallas Mavericks. I can't speak today. This is the second podcast I've done tonight, so give me a break. Mark Cuban. He's a genius in what he does. Okay, he's a genius in what he does. If you don't know about him, if you know NBA, you know basketball, you know he owns the Dallas Mavericks, which is bigger nowadays. But that's not where he started. You know how much money it takes to own an NBA franchise or any sporting team? You have to have started something, right? You have to have started something that's still paying you. So read his book. It's really inspirational. Phil Knight. Now Phil Knight, I think most fitness enthusiasts. If you call yourself a fitness enthusiast and you don't know who Phil Knight is, go slap yourself. Alright, or let somebody else slap you. Come here and I'll slap you. Because Phil Knight is the creator of Nike. Right? Nike, whatever you call it in your country. Nike obviously is an international juggernaut, but it didn't start out that way, obviously. But the origins of it and what he had to go through to get it started and how many people believed in him, and just it's such an interesting story. It's probably one of the most engaging audiobooks I've listened to. And man, Phil Knight, perseverance at its finest. Definitely read his book, Shoe Dog. Perfect, right? Now we move on to people that are still out there right now doing the damn thing, and who you can learn from, especially on social media. You can pay for their courses, whatever you want. You got Grant Cardone. Podcast with Cardone Zone. Real thick Texan accent. Grant Cardone's really big on sales and selling yourself, so he's a brilliant person when it comes to that sort of stuff. So Grant Cardone, look up, just search him on Google. You'll find all his stuff. He's a brilliant sales person, and he believes that you can be taught anything. You can be taught anything. You can always be taught sales. You can always be taught how to change. He's perfect example of a self-made man. He's got a TV show now. He's got a lot of shit going for him. So Grant Cardone is someone I really look up to. Next, we got Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, if you're a long-time listener of the show, I name-drop this dude a lot purely because of the influence he's had on me. Now, he has written a few books. Ask Gary V. Ask Gary V is the last one I read. Then Jab, Right Hook was another one I've read. Again, if you don't know anything about social media marketing and you want to get into it, make sure you read his stuff or listen to his stuff. He's a visionary. He knows what he's talking about. He knows trends before they happen. He's called it. He's like a witch of some sort. He just knows when these things are going to happen, how they're going to happen, and the generation they're going to happen. He started Wine Library TV like a while back now. He now owns a social media marketing company. He's a brilliant man. So look up his stuff. John Lee Dumas is the next one. JLD. He does a daily podcast where he interviews entrepreneurs every single day, and he's done that for the last 3 years. He currently has one of the highest grossing podcasts on basically all podcasts. And let me just look it up real quickly. It's called Entrepreneur on Fire. And Entrepreneur on Fire, like I said, talks to different entrepreneurs every single day of the week, and he's probably one of the only daily podcasts that really inspires people a lot. And he's very transparent in what he does, and he's been able to create a business out of this podcast. Now, if you go to his website, he puts an income report for every single month, right? I'm trying to just go into the page right now. Okay, and for July, so we're in August. July's income was $166,721. That's from podcasting, and basically, from podcasting and all the other trainings that he's made of that. He does a mentorship program. In August, he had, it's been August. In August, he's got 1,593,201 listeners. Who the hell doesn't want that sort of listener base? Podcasting is my thing. This is my goal. I know I won't get to that size, and even if I could get a tenth of that, I'd be fucking happy. I'd be such a happy man. You could live so comfortably, and ultimately that's where I would like to be. I'd like to be in his shoes. I'd like to live the life he lives. Ultimately, I believe podcasting is my vehicle. So if you feel the same way, make sure you let me know. Head to the iTunes page, leave a review on this podcast. It really helps out a lot. Now, last but not least for me, I got Daniel J. Lewis. He runs Audacity's podcast webpage, as well as got mentorship programs. I'm part of it. He's just built a great following. He's a bit of a down-to-earth guy. After Daniel J. Lewis's mentoring, I will be moving on to John Lee Dumas. So these are the guys that I'm paying for. These will be the mentors that I pay for and help me because it's specific to my industry. Now, there's people out there in your industry that can help you get where you need to get. Now that's my mentors. I've had a few. And mentors are sort of like personal development. When you talk about personal development and people talk about it as trying to give recommendations for personal development, it's personal development because it's personal. What you need to develop is different to what I need to develop. So there's something out there for everything. If you want to be a better talker, if you want to write a podcast, you want to be a better trainer, you want to know a little bit more about sales. There's everything out there for you. You just gotta make it specific, right? So first, Facebook friend that commented on my comment. Now let me get it up there. Let me get it up. on the Fit Pro podcast, we're very mature, and I feel like just off the cuff, a lot of the interviews I've been doing lately are sounding a lot more natural. They're sounding a lot more like me, and that's what I want to come through. If these episodes sound like me, make sure you head to the Fit Pro podcast and let me know if these episodes sound like I'm becoming comfortable or not. I feel like I am. Let me know. Right. And I've got a lot of followers on Facebook now, like 250 something. That's strange. It's really weird. Why don't you just add me as a friend? I'll add you back. Alright? Marvin Fayers on Facebook. Hit me up. I'm trying to find this post. That's why I'm rambling. I'll find it in a second. Internet in Australia is really, 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 really slow. How about you? How about your internet? Alright, cool. The question I asked was, it's my serious question of the week. Who are your go-to number 1 and 2 mentors and why? These can be people you communicate with, watch from afar, or just admire. On any medium, across any genre. And I had a few comments. Getting good engagement from the listeners as well as my friends. Got a good support circle going, so this is great to see. And I'll put this question on the show notes. So if you head to Twitter, you can answer that question too. Alright? Cool, let's get into it. Now, the first Facebook friend that commented was Mario. Now, a lot of these mentors, I have no idea who they are. So bear with me, it's just going to be brief. And I'll leave links to each of these guys in the show notes, and girls, anyway. So, first one, Tucky Moore, for building and solidifying my coaching business. Cool. Again, I have no idea who that is. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out who these people are, and I'll put links on them, alright? Ben Simkin for Marketing Mastery on Facebook. Brilliant. Okay, that's one really big tool for those engaging in a business that's on social. You need to learn how to market, right? One of our great guests before, Brett Larkin, spoke about marketing and email. Now, how do I say this name? Alice Haymerl on human behavior, NLP, hypnosis, leadership, and all things personal development. Sounds like a great woman. Next, one thing I get with my questions is I get a combination of people that are in the fitness industry and people that aren't, and people that are in business and people that aren't, and just normal people. Alright, so these are responses from people that may not know a lot about personal development or business or etc., but they still have mentors. Okay, let's see. This is from Ivan. As someone who doesn't know much about business apart from network marketing side of things, I'd have to say Gary Vaynerchuk. He's always a good way to start, and you spelt it right. Has helped me understand what it takes to actually make a start at doing something positive with my life in relation to business. Now, how can that ever be a negative thing? So, thumbs up to that one, Ivan. I'm not sure if I'd call him a mentor, but Joe Rogan has genuinely opened my eyes to the world around me that has led to some discoveries of myself and people around me, e.g. bad influence and people I get bad habits from. Brilliant, man. Joe Rogan, he's definitely one of my mentors as well. I look up to him a lot, especially what he's done with his life, from being a comedian to being a commentator to being a podcast host and hosting a very, very successful podcast that's one of the most successful in the world. Joe is one of those people that basically sees life through his third eye. He actually is very, very esoteric in how he talks about things, and he just has a lot to say. And for some reason, I can't stop listening. Right? Boom. Craig, Joe Rogan, because he's me in 25 years. Me too, brother. Me too. Refers to the last response because that's Joe Rogan, man. That's what I'd love to be. He's a martial artist. He's a funny guy. He's fit. He's healthy. And has his own supplement company called On It. He's just a really, really good dude. All right. A Drive. He's a Pokemon content creator. He's inspired me to start streaming full time. That's what a mentor is. Somebody that inspires you to do something. And streaming full time is it's an occupation nowadays. So I have no hate towards that. Nobody should have hate towards that because, man, have you seen YouTube? Do you know what YouTube is? Do you know how much money there is on YouTube? Everybody should be streaming something. It creates a great following. Nick, TJ consistently this year. He's very easily relatable. I agree. TJ is a big. Early on in my career in fitness, he was a big influence on my career, especially what he's done with RBT. I always wanted to own a gym, but then I didn't want to do all that. I don't like overheads. I really don't. So that's not me. But again, TJ has built an empire with RBT. You've probably heard of it if you live in Australia. And he's great at it. And he's been reading a lot of books this year, so less actual mentors at the moment, bro. Oh, that's cool, dude. Again, like I said, books and big books on people, books on subjects, all good shit. And you know what they say? Leaders are readers. Or readers are leaders. Either way, they say that. They say it. Now, Zach, Dan Kennedy, and Chuck Munger. In person, I get mentored by Bedros Keuilian and Jason Capital. More business marketing and not being a dumbass stuff. Love that. You don't want to be a dumbass. Good job. Zach we've had on the show before. You know him as the practical nutrition coach. And yeah, he does some cool shit. So, fuck it. These guys must know something. So I will link them. Perfect. John, we've actually got as a guest coming up on the show. So very excited for that episode to drop. Very fun. John, I've got 3. This counts as 1. My uncle and my 3 cousins inspire me daily in their own ventures and are always making moves. We'll talk about that. That's a very motivated family. I know what you mean, man. I've seen your family. I've seen your cousins. Good job. Yeah, they're definitely good people to aspire to be. My bro Johnny, Bliss from Bliss and SO, my mentor in the music scene. That's sick. That's sick. When you can have a mentor like that, that's successful. And John wants to be an artist. He's very good at what he does too. He's a very good artist, guys. He's brilliant. In his episode, I'll leave some links, not in this one. Alright? Boom. Gary V, again, he's a beast, a no-nonsense person. Last but not least, we have Jade, and a paragraph from Jade. Hopefully we get Jade on the show as well in a few days' time. Really looking forward to it. So Jade says, man, I have 100. I could never name 2. Tony Robbins gets my ass to the gym and gets me into the state for presenting. good. Dan Millman keeps me grounded, balanced, and connected. Dr. John D. Martini has aided my coaching abilities and big picture thinking. My gosh, Brene Brown taught me my most prized lesson, vulnerability. Always have her in my ears when I feel out of touch. The crew at MJB seminars, huge mentors for me, and a bunch of incredible people who I couldn't even begin naming within the industry, my industry. Perfect, Jade. That was a very well articulated sentence. And yeah, just some good mentors in there. So make sure you check them out. So that's basically the meat of the podcast, guys. And I hope you've basically picked up maybe another mentor, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5. And there's always people you can learn from. Ultimately, it's up to you to put in the work to find these people, as well as this. Hopefully this helps you out, but as well as to put in the work. You gotta be willing to put in the work. These guys have the instructions. They know how to do and accomplish certain things in life that you do not. Then hence why they are at the position they are in. So when you learn from these people, it's almost like a transfer of knowledge, and you can pass that on yourself. So what's taken away from, you could be someone's mentor right now. You could be mentoring a hell of a lot of people that you don't know about. They could be watching. So guys, I don't know how to end this, but there's so many mentors out there. Again, it's individual. Personal training, not personal training. Personal development is personal. Boom, that's a quotable. Personal development is personal. Mentors are personal. Anybody can be a mentor to you as long as they have what you want and they can show you how to get it. There's no point listening to people in life that don't have what you want and don't know how to get it. Right? The majority of people have either A, failed at their dreams, or B, gone and done them. So chances are you're listening to A, which are people that have failed at their dreams and they're just trying to keep you out of feeling that pain of failure. But you've got to fail to move forward. You've got to have those moments where you fall on your ass so that you can basically appreciate the moments where you're not, where you're standing up, where you're running, where you're sprinting, and everything makes sense, and your life and your business and anything you're trying to do is on the right track. So that being said, listeners, that was episode 23 of the Fit Pro podcast, Spitting Fire. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I'll call it something. If you have not already, make sure you head to the Facebook page, Fit Pro Podcast or Fit Pro Pod. So facebook.com/FitProPod. We got there eventually. And Twitter / at FitPro Podcast. I'm getting everything mixed up, but it's late, guys. Give me a freaking break. Alright, so we got Twitter, we got Facebook, and we got Instagram as well, FitPro Podcast. Everything is FitPro Podcast. You will find me at FitPro Podcast. Make sure you've gone to the iTunes website and left a review on the FitPro Podcast. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the guests. Let the guests know if they did well. People love being appreciated. Again, this is time, this is effort. We put it in so that you can get all of this out of it. Hopefully today you've picked up a new mentor. If you need anything, let me know. But that being said, this is episode 23 of the Fit Pro podcast, and I'm out. Peace.